Und now a message from Alex Vaughan.
What's up, bros? I'll keep this diatribe short, as I know you're not a big fan of my lengthy messages. Currently sitting out an Ishi day in Berlin, which makes me realize I've had about 1.5 Ishi days on my journey. So this is number 2.5, and I therefore declare that I have been rather fortunate weather-wise. Besides, sometimes we need a cloudy day to appreciate the sunshine. Plus, local German beers at this hostel are like 1.5 euro, so there's that. Amsterdam was all right. Lots to see, but not my favorite city. As this message hits our listeners' ears, I will be in Prague, hopefully seeing all there is to see and doing all there is to do, etc., etc. Enjoying the podcast. Thanks for spoiling The Martian for me. I had no freaking clue that Matt Damon was in it. Darn y'all the heck. Miss you / love you. Home in 3 weeks. How can that be? Alex. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Alex is right. Sometimes you do need a cloudy day to appreciate the sunshine. Hopefully, this podcast is a ray of sunshine in the cloudy day that is your life. Not to say that your life is depressing, but it might be. You are listening to a podcast. You can be doing lots of other things, so you're listening to us. I'm Matt. My last name's Vaughn. Over there being Vancouver, is Will. Last name also Vaughn. Will, how are you?
Yes, I do cop to the fact that my last name is also Vaughn. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. And yes, hopefully, despite the weather, wherever you are, whether the weather is fair or whether the weather be not, whether the weather is cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll be together, however the weather, whether we like it or not. I didn't mean to go into that tongue twister right away, but it just came to my mind. That's something
you went for it.
I learned in college. So there you go. In acting college, that's something that you probably learned in grade 1. I learned it in grade 47.
What a thing to do to die today, a minute or two to two.
There you go.
Distinctly hard to say and harder still to do. I knew that because Stephen Colbert did that with Stone Phillips in like the first season of Colbert Report in like 2007 or 6 or 7. When I was still in high school, just a young man looking out the window at the grass before me, wondering, will I play on that grass? Will I live in this world? I'm being introspective, Will.
It's very introspective. I don't know if you're giving a tagline from like Hoop Dreams or something.
From Hoop Dreams. You know, I'm a hoop dreamer. What can I say?
Yes, they also play basketball on the grass. Yes, Alex, I hear you.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So Alex did not like Amsterdam, I would say, because he just said it was all right. And generally, Alex is pretty... is effervescent the right word? Effervescent about other things?
No, he's not.
He's not?
I wouldn't call him effervescent at all. And he can't do nothing about it. No, he seems to be... I mean, when you go anywhere... Like, I've been to okay places, and I've been like, oh, well, this is really neat. Just because it's somewhere different, and you're just like, no, it's not bad. You know, it's not bad. Especially if you're there for like a day or so.
Right.
You know, I've been in Winnipeg. Yes, you can touch me. And it was in the summertime, and Matt, you also visited there too. Probably not very different from Saskatoon in the summertime. I can say that because I've been in both places in the summertime. So
truly you have.
Truly I have. It's very hot and very mosquito-y in Winnipeg in the summertime.
There's a lot of mesquite barbecue sauce floating around
That's right.
in the air.
Yeah.
It just rains that stuff.
Yes, absolutely. We all know that, right? It's called the Mosquito Coast. That's the Harrison Ford movie. And that's where they based that's set in Winnipeg. No, it's nice in the summertime, but apparently hell in the wintertime. Matt, you can confirm that.
Nice thing about Winnipeg
isn't nice.
Winnipeg's got those got them pedways, so you can actually, if you're smart about it and playing it out, you can make it work really well. Which is fun because you can go right through the MTS Center and walk right. You know, you can touch the stone that the Jets play in.
That's right. You can touch the stone,
nice.
which feels a lot like regular stone. Toronto has like an underground walkway too. Vancouver really doesn't. Vancouver just has a lot of awnings because it rains here, as it's raining right now. And you know what? I feel pretty good despite the weather.
There you go.
You know,
it's weather.
It was dry as a barn in the summertime, and now it's wet as a bone in the fall. But that's what we're used to.
Did you say bone? Oddly, is that what that was? It wasn't barn.
It's wet as a barn.
Wet as a barn.
It's me saying it in my muchly lauded Australian accent.
I work with a South African gentleman, and I'm still working at that accent.
Well, do what Ian Hallen from the show. He said that you just
what is it again? Yeah,
do a. I think it's a Dutch accent, right?
Okay, well, there's the biggest problem.
No, you just talk like Goldmember, right? There's your Dutch accent right there. And Alex is hearing a lot of them too. So Alex is probably going to crush a South African accent when he gets back. We'll have to.
Oh, he best.
We'll have to probe him on that. But yeah, do a Dutch accent, and then you throw like a British accent on top of that or something. You just really roll your R's, man. That's what you do. That's my South African.
It's not bad. I mean, it could be worse, right? It's not bad.
It's not audible though. It's not intelligible.
It didn't feel like I was talking to Charlize Theron just now. So
yeah, does she have any trace of a South? Because she was like,
I think she's one of those actresses. You're like, I don't know if she just has an American accent or she just is always doing that. Because she doesn't even have an Australian accent in Mad Max, a movie that is set in post-apocalyptic Australia.
Yeah, I thought that was odd too. I thought she'd really be working that, but
I didn't even notice it. But then this week I realized it, and it's kind of testament to that movie.
She's 40 now. Goodness.
She's not as young a woman as she used to be.
Yeah, but she's still
true of literally everyone, but still
pretty true of everyone. Yes, Matt, you're not as old
just
as you
beautiful
were.
and talented as ever. She's crushing it. She's like the world is Charlize Theron's oyster.
She's hashtag killing it.
Hey, can you remind me? Did she die in Prometheus?
I don't remember. I actually was watching. This is part of a series, and we are getting into October. Because it's October 12th, so we're almost halfway through. So we're getting into October, Matt.
Yeah, we are.
God, and you know, it's
Will hates October, as you can tell.
No, I love October, but I just hate myself for being so late to the party on so many things. You know why? It's because Labor Day was so late this year. Labor Day was September 7th. Is that outrageous?
Come on,
take that calendar.
Put it together, people.
Put it together, calendar. So we lost our train of thought completely for a second there. No,
I have all sorts of trays to pick up.
Yes, that's right. There's a series. It's on YouTube, and it's also at a website. I might have mentioned this last year, but it's called Cinemassacre, and it's done by this guy in Philadelphia named James Rolfe. And he used to be, and he still kind of is, he used to do a series of videos called The Angry Nintendo Nerd, which became The Angry Video Game Nerd, which is basically him playing very difficult old games and just swearing a lot. And,
that sounds awesome.
They actually are. They're pretty funny. Like, watch the video of him playing the first Ninja Turtles game, because I think we definitely played that back in the day. And he's talking about how it doesn't make any sense and how it's so difficult. And you're like, you know, all these little nitpicky things that you know, living in our day in our world today, our video games, we demand a lot of them, quite obviously. And when you go back to play some of these old ones, they're so amazingly broken. It's like, this is outrageous. So that's him going back. He's playing those games and he's swearing at him. It's a lot of fun. So he has a buddy named Mike Matei, and they've been making videos for years, a couple different series. And my favorite series that he does is one called Monster Madness, and it's at cinemassacre.com. So it's cinema and then 2 S's and then acre.com, cinemassacre.com, and YouTube. That's the name of his YouTube channel. Plugging YouTube channels a lot lately, and he does something called Monster Madness.
That's very advanced of you.
Yeah, isn't it? So he started doing this, I think, around 2007 or so. He's been doing it a long time, and he's been doing so 2007. So he started with the history of horror in 2007. 2008, he did a Godzilla-thon. And this is like every day in October, he does a different movie. So every day in October 2008, he did a different Godzilla movie. And these are all still up on his website. If you go to cinemassacre.com, click under movies, and you'll see the Monster Madness links. But he's done cult movies, sequel movies, 80s movies, sequel part 2, which is very appropriate. But one of the series he did was recently is he reposted a bunch of videos he did for Alien. So he did like Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. And I've seen the first 2. I haven't seen the last 2. And I can probably skip the last 2 from what I saw on his video. But he also did
I still want to see Alien 3, actually, just for the Fincher of it all.
But apparently with Fincher, he was a super late addition, and they didn't have a finished script with it. So it's really not – it's more him just kind of being – sounds like being a puppet of the studio instead of having it be like a Fincher movie.
He wasn't as much a puppet.
He wasn't David Fincher back then.
Ooh.
As much as he is now.
Yeah. He's got just gonna remind you again that we're going to be watching Zodiac at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. Folks, if you want to follow along with the podcast, you're also going to want to watch Zodiac at Christmas time. None of us unless you're very nearby and we like you like way too much.
Yeah, way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah,
no,
I'm looking forward to checking it out for sure. I want to see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yes.
So he mentioned something about Prometheus and the alien thing, and I think that I think she survives. It's like her and it's like
Noomi Rapace.
Oh wait, no, maybe it's Noomi who survives.
No, Noomi definitely. It's Noomi and David, Michael Fassbender, Steve Jobs.
Yes, Steve Jobs.
Future possible James Bond.
Future possible James Bond as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like she might die. I think maybe she gets. Oh gosh.
I don't know.
You know what? There's a way to figure this out. Charlize Theron. Well, why don't you tell? Well, while I'm looking that up, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we can look forward to in a week or so? I think you got Mr. Ian Hanlon's coming back. Is that right?
Ian Hanlon, friend of the show. By the way, this show isn't over yet. I know we usually plug next week at the end of the show.
Yeah, I know.
But we're doing a preemptive right now because we talk about horror movies and Halloween. If you recall on this show last year, I invited Mr. Ian Hanlon. I think it was his first appearance on the show as well, or maybe not. Maybe not. Second or third. Who cares about him? But he's did a list of horror movies, and we did it from A to Z because Ian's a big film aficionado and a big horror aficionado, especially. He's a big fan of October, where he can watch as many horror movies as he likes with reckless abandon and not be thought crazy for it. So he did a list of horror movies last year from A to Z because we're in Canada, and he is set to do it again. I've tasked him once more with finding us 26 films of the horror genre, or could be considered horror genre, to present to us in list form next week. Nice. So we'll definitely be doing that. Actually, I think I mentioned Zombie last week.
Yes,
which is part of the well, no, because it was on last year's list, which was part of Monster Madness. And yes, it did mention the part where the zombie fights a shark underwater. It's actually
so good.
Actually, seems like a very silly movie. Oh yeah, because I was mentioning the guy who was going to be James Bond, who wasn't, and there you go. And we'll just mention the current James Bond said some stuff in an interview. Which I think on the podcast before I've said like, oh, he's going to definitely do it, but then Daniel Craig said something about slitting his wrists. Yeah, Craig, did he have? I thought he was done as of Spectre though. Did he have one? He didn't have one more movie on the thing, does he? Oh,
my understanding was that he was on for 5. I thought they had a 5-picture deal with it, but I think it would be pretty easy to just be like for him to come to them, and they could probably just talk and be like, yeah, we don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. You don't want me to do this. Well, it'll be better off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't really have a problem with him. Well, I don't know. I don't have a problem with him saying he say whatever he wants. He did it 4 times.
Yeah. Oh, just quick update, guys. I know how Charlize Theron dies in Prometheus.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so if you haven't heard Prometheus, you haven't heard it? Yep. If you haven't seen Prometheus, cover your eyes.
Yeah. Apology. Well, I already talked about how she dies. I'm not going to say she doesn't. Mm-hmm. There's one of the biggest critiques of Prometheus is that at one point the ship, the alien ship, is falling on the ground. It is rolling, and people are running in a straight line instead of trying to run to the right or left, which seems like a better option.
Yes.
So Charlize Theron gets crushed to death when the ship topples on top of her.
Oh, okay.
That's from JulianSanchez.com. Don't go to that website. I know nothing else about it.
Okay, there you go. All right.
But I don't want to give credit without where it is.
Hey, you got to give him a shout out, man.
Yeah, my buddy JS. My buddy JS. It's true. Speaking of JS Sebastian Zaguer.
Yeah,
JS Jaguar.
He's retired, isn't he?
He's got to be retired.
I think he's got to be retired. Yeah. The NHL dropped the puck on Wednesday night last week on a new season. Entertaining night with Connor McDavid and Jack Eichel. Actually, I think just McDavid played that night, but Jack Eichel scored in his first game.
I thought they both did.
No.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Just something to mention. They'll mention it at some point. So he's getting it done. Oh, by the way, Matt, you've probably seen this already. Have you seen the series with Sid and Nathan?
Oh yeah.
And the Tim Hortons drive-through in Dartmouth.
Yes, they're Tim Hortons ads.
Where is that? That's not at Dartmouth Crossing, is it? Where is
No,
that?
I'm pretty sure, and someone feel free to correct me. That's the Tim Hortons on like Portland Street, like way at the bottom, almost by like the ferry terminal.
Okay,
that little one there. I think it's that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's interesting. I have there. If you went, if we go Christmas, they won't be there though.
They won't be there. No,
Yeah.
they shouldn't be.
Just to be clear.
How much were you guys kicking yourselves? Are you like, oh, we should have went to that Tim Hortons that very day when those guys that weren't announced being there?
I was working.
You were working, yeah.
I was working.
Yeah, so you can send your wife to get you a coffee or something.
Also working.
I say that like she's got yeah, exactly. I say that like she's got nothing better to do.
My wife, also my life assistant, like just an assistant at all times.
Yeah, that's the role of the wife, I think, isn't it? Oh no.
No,
don't say that. No. Don't mention that.
I'm also her assistant.
Don't mention the role. Yeah, she gets retired, by the way. But
yes.
Yeah,
for a year, so I've seen. So, Will, what are your expectations of this NHL season? Let's get away from our opinions on women.
Yes. Let's talk about something we know even less about is hockey. Last year, if you recall on the show, last year we did two big previews. We did one preview for the NFL season, one preview for the NHL season. Because last year, someone for my birthday, don't mean to brag, gave me the Hockey News issue of like the season preview. So I was all up in my stuff back then, and I do think they actually predicted Tampa and Chicago in the final.
No way! Did they really?
Yeah, they predicted Tampa would finish pretty high.
That seems downright impressive.
Well, they got the looks.
They've got the looks.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that. So I was up on my stuff last year. This year, not as much. I know there's a couple new faces in new places. You got Phil Kessel in Pittsburgh. The Canucks made a bunch of moves. I think they've on Wednesday they started a season with 3 rookies for the first time since like 93 or something like that. So it's been quite a long time since the Canucks have started with 3 rookies, but they had an impressive showing in Calgary, and we have yet to see where they go from here.
Yes.
But, their division is going to be interesting. Calgary certainly showed some fire last year, no pun intended. Edmonton, obviously, with the big the big most recent first-round draft pick of Connor McDavid. We'll see what happens there. And a new coach.
Hope they don't hit a slick, no pun intended.
That's right. Hopefully they don't hit a slick. With a new head coach, they seem to have so they got Todd McClellan, they got what's his name, Chiarelli as the GM out of Boston. So they got
because he was fired from Boston.
Because he's fired from Boston. So they got a pretty impressive front office. So we'll see how they do. Anaheim looks very strong again.
Yes.
And
very much,
LA, I know, bought out Mike Richards, which is
I don't think it technically bought out. It was a contract restructuring.
There you go. Restructuring where he doesn't have a job anymore.
Doesn't have a job anymore because he has drug habit.
There you go.
Problems.
Yeah. And it was him and Jeff Carter, but Jeff Carter seemed to pull out of that.
Yeah, he's doing well. Jeff Carter's doing quite well.
He's doing well. So, that's their division. We'll see if around the league, obviously, if our boy Nathan can come back from a slumping sophomore season, and we'll see what happens with the investigation ongoing in Chicago, and we'll see what old Babcock can do in Toronto. He got blanked in Detroit.
I watched most of this game yesterday. I shouldn't have because it was bad. Uh-huh. But I watched the Leafs in Detroit. And I like the Leafs aren't set up to be successful. I don't think anybody expects Babcock to, make something work with that crew.
The Leafs look really bad, actually.
Yeah, they got Parento.
Yeah,
they got Spalletti. Yeah, it's like what's going on there?
They look really bad, and Mike Babcock, obviously, he's not going to turn them around in one season.
No, I don't think that's his MO. I guess they'll probably try to do the best with what he got, but
they look bad. Habs look pretty good. Senators look okay. I mean, I haven't done my research, so I can't speak intelligently. Okay. I think the Canucks will be another 8th or 7th seed in the playoffs this year. I think they'll squeak by. Yeah, and that's optimistic. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what they can do with this bunch. I think it felt like the culture of the team changed from what I saw on Wednesday. It's a more hardworking group. I mean, it's based on one game. The first game of the season facing the team that eliminated them in the playoffs, and the game started with Derek Dorsett fighting Michael Furland, who was the thorn in the side of the Canucks in last year's playoffs. So obviously the Canucks wanted some measure of revenge. It's like Peyton Manning throwing 7 touchdown passes against the Ravens the first game of the 2013 regular season in the NFL because the Ravens eliminated the Broncos in the playoffs.
Yes.
So you come back with some fire. You're like, oh, these are the guys. These are the guys that got us. And
I wonder if Peyton Manning will throw 7 touchdown passes for the rest of the season.
I hope so. He's on my Yahoo fantasy team.
I have him there too, but he is sitting on the bench and he won't move.
Who's your starter?
Thomas Edward Brady Jr.
Okay, as we sashay a little bit into football here. By the way,
Will, your use of sachet is always troubling.
I know. Thank you.
It's
it's
your artistic actor spirit. That's why.
Yeah, I also got it from City Slickers when Billy Crystal says, I think Walt's all over there. Why do we say Waltz? Why don't we say, Tango or Sachet? Why do we say that?
Billy Crystal's so funny.
Hey.
Sorry, sarcastic. Sorry.
Bro.
Sorry,
yes,
he looks marvelous.
Yeah, exactly. The football season, when do the Patriots face the Colts, who are in a lot of trouble?
I believe it'll be this coming week.
Yeah, I think it's this coming week.
Sunday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, go Matt Hasselbeck. As Tom faces the team that accused him of deflating his balls and put him through that hell, I think Tom will throw for 7 touchdown passes.
I saw somebody who was like, "I think it's going to be 105-0." I don't see how that won't be that.
I mean, they're playing angry, and they won too. Yeah. That's the thing. That's even more dangerous. They beat them bad last time. Anyway, that's football and baseball.
No, hold on. I didn't get to football though.
Yes, okay.
So
we got to talk.
We were talking about week 5.
Week 5, but
I'm interested in week 8. Though.
Week 8, yeah, that's the money week, right?
Week 8 is interesting to me because 2/3 of this podcast will be in the stands at Gillette that game.
Yes, actually, 1/2 of this current podcast will be at.
Yes, half the current one, 1/3 of the normal one. With Ian, it's still half.
That's right.
But yes, Alex and I will be at Gillette on November 8th to see the Redskins game there. At 2:00 in the afternoon, Atlanta time. But if we get there at 2:00 Eastern, that'll be bad because we would have missed an hour.
So you'll see the wonderful matchup of Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's going to go down in history. The Redskins who aren't terrible this year.
Oh, actually, that's week 9. By the way, you said November 8th.
It's week 8. No, you're right. It's week 9. Sorry, it's their 8th game.
Ravens have a bye that week. By the way.
Sorry, folks. Oh, there you go. Well, you got no excuse not to watch the game.
Well, unless it's not showing here.
Unless it's not showing. Package. But we'll be on there.
It's not a marquee matchup, unfortunately, but continue.
Yes.
I digress.
Yeah, so we're going to be there, which is exciting. Got tickets. I wish they were less than they were. But you pay for the experience. You go one time. It's not like we're buying season tickets, although I am open to that. But yeah, I'm excited. Going to see the game. Going to be in Gillette. Going to smell the gunpowder from the guns of the guys who shoot the guns.
You'll smell the Gillette Edge shave gel.
Yeah, hopefully I get some free Gillette Edge shave gel while I'm there.
So this is not Alex's first time seeing the Patriots play live. It's his second, right?
Yeah, he saw them in Houston. Now this is his first time at home.
This is his first time
at Gillette.
In Gillette, and
this is my first time ever.
He's also been to Gillette before, but not for a Patriots game.
Correct.
So this guy's this is going to be nothing exciting for him. He's been to Amsterdam, He's going to be like,
which he didn't like. Well, I don't know if you remember that part of the podcast.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember.
It wasn't. He said he was okay, but I think we're all going to figure out where he's going with that.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's been to. I know you were talking about. He's been to Anfield too, so it's a big year for him. It's a big year.
Yeah, it's a big year for Alex Vaughn.
Big year for Alex Vaughn. So yes, you're going to be there. Are they decent seats? Good seats? 50-yard line. Right behind Belichick?
I think they're the best I've seen for the price that I got. That's for sure. Like anything, so there were tickets that were lower bowl, kind of towards the 50-yard line, but they were like $690 American.
Nice deal.
And
the exchange rate that's like $20,000.
Exactly. So there's that. So I found one that I thought was close enough, or I did the best I could essentially. Like I didn't want to start getting close to the day and not have them. But the cool thing was, I bought them on, I think, Wednesday, and by Friday they showed up here via UPS, so that was quick. Good job.
So you have them, you have actual
I have them,
they're
upstairs. Gronk's on them, they're pretty sweet.
Physical, they're printed off and everything. I haven't got a ticket like that since since the Stanley Cup playoffs. No, actually, Our Canucks season tickets have pictures on them, but most of the pictures you get are just like, even the tickets I got for WrestleMania is like, Ticketmaster, you sit here and it's this event. Like, oh come on, give me a picture of some giant 6'27" tight end douchebag frat boy. You know,
22 inch. What part of him are you describing as 22 inches?
His pythons, brother. He's got those 22 inch pythons, dude. He's pulling out passes in the end zone from Tom Brady, man.
Pretty good. Poor guy. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Did we say? By the way, happy Thanksgiving, everybody who's listening to this.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Columbus Day if you live in Columbia. And Matt. Hey, any let's talk about Thanksgiving memories. Matt,
sure.
Yeah, remember that Thanksgiving a couple of years ago when we had dinner?
Oh man, it was
it's crazy,
outrageous.
Yeah,
actually, once I do actually have one, but you're not in it. Is that okay? Can I share that one?
Nope, you can't.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, see you next week. All right, go. No, share it.
Sure, yeah. So it was a couple years ago. Emily and I, that's my wife, we were engaged at the time, I believe. Mom and Dad were visiting from Nova Scotia. I was living in Saskatoon. And it was Thanksgiving, and we hadn't really planned on having like a big Thanksgiving. Well, we also had, sorry, yawn there, gosh. Recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
You're bored, exactly, yeah. So enjoy this. Even though it's live on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mom and Dad were there, and then my in-laws came, my in-laws to be at the time.
Uh-oh.
They came, and so we had a turkey, but the turkey was, I think it was called the utility turkey.
No, his name's Dad.
Good one. We had a utility turkey, so it only had one arm and one leg. And it was very small. Yes, it was a very ghetto turkey.
Why do they call it utility turkey? What is that?
It was really a loaves and fishes or an oil in the candle kind of situation where we didn't think we had enough.
It's a one-armed, one-leg turkey situation. It's weird that a turkey had an arm on it, too. I think that should have been your first clue that it was wrong.
Well, excuse me for not saying it had a wing. It doesn't fly with that crap anyway.
Like
but everybody had enough. And it was beautiful. It was really quite nice. We watched. I
think everybody said they had enough.
No, I was full. It was great. We watched.
Actually, no, turkeys are way too big though. For
turkeys are quite large. There's one on my table right now.
They're too big.
Yeah. They're quite large. And I remember my mother-in-law was watching. We were watching the NFL, and so she wanted to cheer for the green team because she's there's Saskatchewan. She's a Riders fan.
Oh yeah.
But in this instance, their green team was the Jets.
Football Jets, yes.
And so they got a touchdown, and she was happy about it, and Dad was not happy about it. Neither was I.
Because they were facing the Pats, right?
I don't remember because
I don't know if it was. Care?
No, well,
probably didn't even win that game.
I want them to lose every game.
You want them to lose.
When I saw Jets Dolphins in London, I just wished that Wembley would fall in.
It basically did for the Dolphins.
It basically did for the Dolphins. They're terrible this year. I'm excited to play them.
Hey, man, just as long as their practice squad enjoys their paychecks, that's all that matters.
Is that a reference to that Ryan Tannehill thing?
It's a reference to that Ryan Tannehill thing.
Can you tell? I don't know if enough people have heard about this. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback of the Dolphins.
Yes, so Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback for the Dolphins. He's awful. He's been awful for years, but he's been their starter for years.
He's only been there since 2012. I think he was drafted, so he's not a grizzled veteran.
It feels like he's been there for 100 years. But they were doing not even a practice, a walk practice. They're doing a walkthrough in Wembley, and the practice squad kept picking off his passes. And he was getting frustrated, and as he was leaving the field, it's reported to him saying, enjoy your practice squad checks, and walking off. And like the coaching staff was like, don't pick off his passes. You're making him feel bad. It's like
he's not good.
Yeah, he is bad. He's a professional athlete. He should be amazing. He should be threading. He should be able to throw a football through a tire hanging from a tree, which, by the way, is very difficult.
I was just out throwing the pigskin, and I think I did pretty well.
You think you did pretty well? Who are you throwing it with?
Who did I play? I played with my wife.
Is she good?
She's
all pro.
She's okay.
All pro.
She's doing what she can. I try to show her like okay, here's some good technique, and I don't know how interested she is in that, and that's okay.
I don't know how interested I would be in your football throwing technique, but
I mean, you might have a bit more of the skills to pay the bills.
The
Buffalo Bills, but not the practice squad.
Not the practice squad. There you go. So it's our football dog. I did want to mention quickly baseball, the playoffs. Congratulations, maybe to the Blue Jays. But I did watch that 14-inning game on Friday. That was Roof Stoof, man. That was Roof.
Amongst the Rufus of Stoof.
There's the Rufus of Stoof. But it's so postseason baseball is so fascinating because it feels so much different from regular season baseball. Like just like the presentation's upped and all that good stuff. It's like basically it's like a Sunday night game. How in the NFL the Sunday night game production value is insane. It's the same production value from NBC. Where the NFL rocks, but actually at the Canucks team store here is selling Blue Jays memorabilia as well. Memorabilia.
The Canucks store sells Blue Jays memorabilia. I guess
like shirts and stuff. I guess they're both owned by Rogers or something, right? Like the Blue Jays play at the Rogers Center, the Canucks play at Rogers Arena, and that's the whole thing. Rogers Arena, which by the way, where I spent my most expensive sporting ticket, Matt, which we discussed earlier. Mine was a little more expensive, but it was for a Stanley Cup final game.
That's worth it.
It was more than worth it. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. I don't know when they're going to get there again. Probably not anytime soon, but remains to be seen. Remains to be seen.
To be seen.
Remains to be seen. So
we will see. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
we were going to talk. We hit. Okay, go ahead. I know we can get on a really good track here, though, coming up.
Okay, good. You're very excited, aren't you?
Well, we talked a little bit before the podcast, and this week was one of those ones where we're like, so did you do anything this week that's worth talking about as much?
And I did. I did a couple things this week worth talking about. First of all, I enjoyed a wonderful screening of Edward at the Vancouver Playhouse. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
You're obsessed with that movie.
So many people came by and said, "Oh, we love the show. You're the best part. You know, you should just go solo, do it by yourself, do some brothers." Oh yeah,
you should go solo. You should have a solo career, just making one-man movies.
One-man movies. No, one-man podcast. They're talking about the podcast, not the movie. No. People were very nice to me, very kind to me about the movie, but no, the podcast. Like, we listen to it all the time. You're the best part. There's those other guys, whatever their names are, and I said, forget them too. You're garbage. These people are garbage. No. So, yes, we were at a lovely screening at Edward at the Vancouver Playhouse on Monday night. And, hey, everybody in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Not only do you get
TLC.
2 WWE house shows in 4 months, you also get Edward playing at the Carlton Theatre this week. And you get it at the Kingsway Theatre starting on Friday. Oh, nice. Yeah, here we go. Plugs all up in this. All right.
Yeah.
Everyone listen
you're
up.
in a major motion picture. This is what we do.
Well, it's not. It's an independent picture, but thank you very much.
Sorry, minor motion picture. It's a feature. You're in a feature, Will.
It's a feature. It's a feature. It's an award-winning feature film. Like that's.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say to you. Got 4 stars. The Edinburgh Fest Mag, and Alex can attest to that because he's been there. Oh yeah, man. We also did. We did a bunch of good stuff. We're the best. So. The Vancouver International Film Festival is over. Oh, what a festival it was. And now Edward is playing in Toronto. So at the Carlton Cinema in Toronto, and if you're in Toronto, you know where that is, from today until Friday. It's playing there. And then starting...
good. There's a few shows a day then.
Yes.
Or
yeah.
It's regardless this time.
It's a real-life movie theater where they play real-life movies. Toronto, also starting Friday through to the 22nd. And this is the same for Edmonton and Saskatoon from the 16th to the 22nd. Edward
Roxy?
Is at the Roxy Theater in Saskatoon. Yep.
Nice. Check it, guys. The Roxy. If anybody's listening from Saskatoon, first off, God bless you for living there.
God bless you.
That's not easy to live there. Roxy is an interesting theater. It's a lot of fun. It's like one of those. It's one of those theaters. What did I go see there? It's one of those ones that like they put a lot of detail into the theater itself. Back when you would like make the back of it look like a Spanish villa and there's stars on the roof of it and all that sort of thing.
Oh, they're showing Night of the Living Dead. That movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of Monster Madness, that movie is public domain. There's no copyright on Night of the Living Dead. So Cinemassacre did a commentary track on the whole thing. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out on their website. But
I got to mention something real quick about this. It's not public domain, but it's related. So there's sometimes you can find public domain movies on YouTube.
Yes.
And generally public domain not that interesting, right? Because it's designed not to be. Because if you're something interesting, you want to make money off of it.
Yeah, right. You want to be on the personal domain.
This week, at least in the United States, and if you use different sources of getting American things, Paramount has a YouTube channel now called Paramount Vault. And there's movies that they don't I guess they're never going to release it in Blu-ray. There's no real reason for that. They probably can't get a streaming company to buy anything, so they're putting it on YouTube in its entirety for free.
Movies such as, Matt?
He-Man and Masters of the Universe
With Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren.
Nice!
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick, actually, because it is totally worth totally worth noting.
Totally worth
noting. So Elizabeth Taylor's Elephant Walk, like most of it, as you can imagine, not worth talking about.
It's basically just a bunch of old crap.
Yeah, generally. I mean, there's
old free crap, though.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Born to Raise Hell, a Steven Seagal movie is there. American Ninja. Agatha Christie's Appointment with Death. I'm trying to think what else.
I like Canadian Ninja. Hi-ya, remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
You
gotta go to the Tims.
Yeah. Maybe Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby.
There's the Frank Sinatra classic, Come Blow Your Horn.
Pardon me. I
Texas
said pardon.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with Dennis Hopper, which looks much more recent.
Oh, that one. That movie's insane. That got like an NC-17 rating. Or was going to for the violence. Yeah. Again, cinemassacre.com, Monster Madness. It's up there.
It's on YouTube. There's the classics like with Elvis and things like that. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, because you got to think there are definitely movies out there that have such a small audience that it wouldn't be worth it, but are popular or interesting enough that it would be good to have it on here.
Well, streaming things is so much easier because Blu-ray you got to pay so much just to get the thing out there, just to make it and ship it. Yeah.
And they could put little ads for the movies they actually want people to watch in front of it.
Yeah, there you go. It's genius.
So it's cool. So now I don't know if they'll have deleted scenes or anything like that. But what can you tell us about deleted scenes and things like Edward?
Oh my God, Matt.
Oh man,
that was.
Well,
good.
we kind of got off of that.
That's good.
Before the show, Will and I were talking about deleted scenes. And
we were talking about it, but you also
he teased me with some gold. That's all.
Yes, I teased you with some gold. I want me gold. I got to finish talking about the Roxy Theater.
Keep talking about the Roxy, bro. Keep it going.
So Edward is showing at the Roxy Theater October 16th to the 22nd. And also on October 17th, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, nice.
A midnight
Roxy's
show.
Also the place where they go, they show the room there and things like that.
Yeah, they do that here too at a place called the Cinematheque. And they had, I think, Battlefield Earth and Catwoman there, presented in something they call Heckle Vision, which I can only imagine if you haven't seen those movies before. Don't go watch it in Heckle Vision. Watch it first, and then go check it out in Heckle Vision.
But I am waiting for the right opportunity to see the room, preferably in front of a lot of people.
Well, you're just looking for the right. No, there's no joke there. So Toronto at the Kingsway Theater, Edmonton at the Princess Theater that same weekend.
Princess.
And Vancouver at the Van City Theater, which is the VIF headquarters. So Vancouver is October 16th to the 20th. And the week after, they're in Cobourg. I don't know where that is. Calgary and Regina. And then there's some more shows. There's even a show in Whitehorse on November 15th.
Oh, I think I saw that.
The Yukon Arts Center. So
Played in Whitehorse, but not here.
So there's more screenings coming. But yes, we wanted to before the show, we got on a jive about deleted scenes. I recently rewatched Avengers Age of Ultron with Ian Hammond for our show. And there's a deleted scene. It's the scene where Thor goes in the water, and he has he just later he just comes out, and Eric Selvig's like, "Oh, what did you see, Thor?" And he's like, "Oh, I saw a thing. It was about." So it sounds like Russell Crowe.
So it sounds a lot like Russell Crowe.
There's a scene that scene where he goes in the water comes out is in the deleted scenes, and apparently he's talking. Ian can clarify this, but I'll let him just yell at me from wherever and whenever he is, because he's a time traveler. So this scene, and he comes out, and Thor is possessed by something called the Norn, which is like a group of it's like an alien group or something. He's got white eyes, and he's talking in a very weird voice, and Eric Selvig is talking to him like Thor is acting like a conduit, right? Like a messenger. Yeah, he's being possessed, and Selvig's talking to him about the thing. He's like, "How do we defeat Ultron?" And it's going on about that stuff. So it was a very weird scene. It seemed very silly and out of place right in the middle of the movie, and it didn't need to happen. Thus, it was cut. And apparently there's a bunch of stuff about Loki that was cut too, which would have made it more confusing. But that's not really in the deleted scenes either, unfortunately. But with movies like Edward, there was a whole subplot about Edward, Muybridge, and Stanford. And I'm trying to realize, I'm very bad at my homework here. I'm trying to realize if it was the Stanford that started the university, and it probably is. But the reason Edward got into the motion study, he wanted to.
That's motion pictures. That
the motion, like the motion studies, like he. Where the heck do I find it? He had a bet with Leland Stanford. Yeah, that's the guy, right?
Okay.
Leland
Classic
Stanford.
old guy name, by the way, Leland.
Yeah, isn't it? I think it's Leland Stanford. Yeah, there is a flying horse. Horse in Motion, 1978.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm sure you mean 1878, right?
No, 1978.
Perfect.
It was much more recent. It was the year after Star Wars. They were just like, we discovered motion. They're like, we also discovered lightsabers. All in the same decade. So yes, Leland Stanford bet Muybridge that a horse never leaves the ground with all four hooves off the ground when it's galloping.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Has every hoof on the ground. So there's a whole thing where they have a bet and like they're painting a horse black, which is Sarah Cannon, her character Flora is painting a horse black with like shoe polish, and the horse runs the thing. And
must be fun. Not a lot of fun to shoot. I can imagine not painting a horse.
Yeah, well, here and like, despite the degree of difficulty, and despite it was a pretty decent, good named actor doing the role of Stanford as well, but it had to go.
Yeah,
just for time and just for whatever. I mean, Edward does mention in the movie, he's like, oh yes, someone asked him like, and I'll say someone because the identity is kind of funny when it's revealed, but someone asked him, well, Edward, why did you use 12 cameras to shoot the horse? Because the idea is the horse runs across a bunch of threads, and the threads all trigger these cameras, which trigger the pictures to be shot. So he's basically doing frames, right? So he's got 12 frames, and he says 12 more chances to win Stanford's bet. So there's a whole thing with Stanford betting him that a horse doesn't leave all the hooves off the ground. So that had to be cut. I think Stanford comes back later. Like, there's somebody who gets their picture taken and demands pictures back. There's most of my stuff is in there still. I think there's one little thing that gets cut out. But that was my reaction when I saw Edward, though. Was like, I thought the editing was so nice. I thought it really flowed very nicely. A lot of stuff that they shot is done in montages. So I thought it was very well edited. So part of that editing is, yes, deleting these scenes. And sometimes you got to make very tough decisions. And hopefully if Edward gets distribution, we get some nice deleted scenes included, because they have them. They shot them. Because there's so much stuff that happens. Like, a script goes through drafts, right? It goes through a production draft, and then was it blue and then pink and then yellow and then goes all the way through. I've seen cherry before, cherry revisions. Those are pretty deep in there. Goldenrod, that's always a popular one.
They got to be pretty close to production if you're doing Goldenrod.
Or you've made a lot of revisions.
Or you're terrible.
If you're in gold, or you just can't read or write. So not only does the script undergo so many changes as it's written and as it's going through production, but also, a movie gets stuff taken out that's already shot. So these are the deleted scenes. Lifetime recently aired something I did back in the spring called Ungodly Acts. And
yes,
what I shot was, so basically it's this murder investigation. One guy says that his wife killed herself. One guy says that he killed her. So it's me and another detective, me and the sergeant, are interviewing or interrogating these guys the whole movie. So I shot 2 days of us, basically a day of us interrogating one guy, the next day, the day of us interrogating the other guy. So
you're in the box the whole time?
We're in two different boxes, actually.
Okay,
there's one, boxes. And we actually shot it in a post office in Britannia Beach. A post office that was still active. So as we were shooting and like grilling these guys, people were like, "Yeah, you mail this package out to what's going on there? Are these cops? Something what's going on?" So we had to deal with that stuff too.
I need to get this to my daughter in Coquitlam.
Coquitlam. It's like drive it over, you lazy slut. So that's what we were doing when we were grilling these guys, and there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff of us grilling them, and it was almost like a whole other movie. And they ended up cutting a lot of it, especially like a lot of it's just us being like, "Oh, you did," and then. But movies, it's a case of show, don't tell. So they shot all this stuff for the guys doing the stuff that we were asking them about, and they used most of that because it's their story. It's about them. It's not about us. We're just the cops being like, you did the thing. Like, there's a whole thing where they actually made my character gay in the script, and that was a revision, and a producer would be like, it's just, because we needed some sympathetic gay character instead of some,
there's like a negative gay part of the movie?
There is, yeah.
Like there's part of it. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I can see that. Because otherwise, if you do that in a movie, it doesn't have to be gay. It could be just about anything, right? You could have a black cop or something like that.
Well, exactly.
Who's terrible, and then if he's the only one there, then it's like, well, you're kind of just making people look terrible.
And we did have a black cop. We had a female black cop and me.
There you go.
So there's a part where the guy's like, I was trying to be saved from being gay. And I'm like, well, I'm gay, and nobody judges me for it. All the cops here accept me for who I am. So that was like a cool moment, I thought. But they ditched it because if it comes along just there, there's nothing about me really built up.
Right.
So it just kind of comes. It's like, okay, so why do we care about this guy all of a sudden? Like, this guy's just sitting there taking notes. You know what I mean? So they cut a lot of stuff out, and I understand why. And I think I figured out this director a little bit too. Is that he just shoots a lot of stuff. He shoots everything, and he gets a lot of coverage. And he's great, and it's good stuff. But it's an example of a bunch of stuff that got cut out. Like Edward, I was very pleased how much stuff stayed in. Like, basically right away when I started, I was used to the fact that film and television are an editor's medium. If you want everything to stay in, write a play and do a play, and there you go. That's how you know everything will stay. Or do a play that's already written, because you can't cut stuff. You cut stuff out of a play in rehearsal. But once it's time for the night, you don't go up there and the director's backstage be like, yeah, you know what, scene 4, second act, yeah, we'll cut it out. We don't need it.
And you can't, because there's lighting cues and there's all sorts of stuff you just can't hit.
You can't cut it. You can't cut anything unless it's been rehearsed that way. So if you want everything to stay in, do a play or do a podcast where you can talk about everything. No one can cut any of this out. I'm about to swear a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, that was a cameo from R2D2. Thanks, R2.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of that, R2.
Not bad. So it's an editor's medium. Like I did. Like the first movie I was in was I Love You, Beth Cooper, and they filmed the actress's coverage, and then they just skipped my coverage. Coverage, right. Okay, it sounds obvious what coverage is, but I'll explain it to you.
Yeah. Well, I know about it because I care about things like this.
There you go.
And people might not as much, but it is very much interesting.
It's a good name for it because you're just covering somebody. You shoot my face first, and then you shoot the other person's face first, right? When you
have a coverage story after this, by the way.
There you go. The coverage story should have been in the beginning. So yeah, you shoot a master, then you go in for coverage, and you just go tighter and tighter and tighter, and then you're done. So they shot her coverage, but not mine, and they brought me back a few times to shoot it, and we just never got around to it. So when the movie came out, I was like, okay, well, I know I'm not going to be in this, and sure enough, I wasn't. With A-Team, thankfully, A-Team released an extended cut Blu-ray, and I ended up in that. But when A-Team came out into theaters, the A-Team that was done by what's his name? The remake, but I'm trying to remember the director. He did The Gray and Smoking Aces. Joe Carnahan. There you go.
Joe Carnahan. Okay, very good.
So yes, thankfully they made an extended cut of Joe Carnahan's movie. But I also see why they cut Arsene out. It wasn't necessary. Usually you just skip it for time. You're just trying to make the movie. You're trying to say as much as you can in a short amount of time as you can, right?
Right.
We're here for a good time, not a long time. So they cut that out, and I didn't end up seeing A-Team in theaters, but one of the actors I worked with was like, yeah, they cut us out. And I'm like, oh, there you go. They cut us out. And I've been in stuff where they cut lots of stuff here, there, and everywhere. So I'm used to that by now. But yeah, it's an editor's medium. So Ungodly Acts, they cut a whole lot of stuff out. I also enjoyed a Twitter session on Wednesday for a show called Ties That Bind, which is on Up Network in the States. And thanks, everybody who tweeted along. I managed to drop a Triple Threat podcast reference in there, so I'm not sure. Did. Yes, I absolutely did. I'm not sure who found us through that, but if you did, thanks. If you didn't, thank you also for not finding us. But Ties That Bind kept everything in, which was quite lovely because it was all necessary stuff. I mean, now I can kind of tell what's necessary and what's not. But usually they just cut stuff for time, or they cut stuff just because it doesn't fit or it doesn't work in the flow. It seems like it works when you write it down, but when you're editing it and you're seeing it, on the screen, it's a whole different story. That was one of my favorite things about the Star Wars Blu-rays that came out, was that they put in a bunch of deleted scenes, and they're all unnecessary, but they're all cool to see. it's cool to see Star Wars footage that you never saw before.
Yeah, like because Star Wars is one of those movies you're just where we want more movies because we just want to have, you know, I want to see, like, I want to get to know more about this place. You know, I want to see what these people are like. I want to see what their world is.
I want to live in the world, man.
Yeah, so that's a big part of it. Is there's that desire there. But real quick, one thing about coverage that I was meaning to say was I was listening to a podcast. I was there too. It's with Matt Gorley from the Wolf Pop Network. He talks with actors in minor roles in major movies. So he talks to Paul F. Tompkins about his role in There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah. Paul does a great stand-up bit about that, too.
Yeah, he talked with D.C. Pierce about his role in Captain America Winter Soldier, which was good, too. He plays the Apple Store employee. And so we talked to Joshua Molina, who was
that guy, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Joshua Molina, who was very briefly in A Few Good Men. And so he just kind of comes out of a door, talks to Jack Nicholson, and goes back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they shoot his coverage, which it's just him opening a door, coming out, saying something, then walking out. Unlike what a lot of actors do, especially big name actors, Jack Nicholson did his own coverage. So when it was Josh Molina's scenes, instead of someone just reading the lines to him, Jack Nicholson was like, "I'll do that."
Oh, Jack was there. Okay, yeah, because they do that sometimes. You do have stand-ins. Nothing I've worked on has had a stand-in, by the way.
Okay, fair you got to work with bigger people.
Everyone, well, no, otherwise they can't fit in the frame.
But
yeah, no, everyone's been cool to hang around and say stuff. So okay, so Jack, because Jack, I would figure would be like, yeah, get my other guy to do it, and then the other guy would show up and be like, hello. I'll stand here and say it, but I guess not. Good. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, it's good.
Continue on.
That was the story. Jack Nicholson's not too big to do his own coverage.
Okay,
that was it.
but
how much can a coverage story be? Truly,
but he wasn't phoning it in or anything.
No. He gave it he went 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he was doing coverage for you can't handle the truth in the courtroom or anything like that.
Well, Jack comes from I think it was Corman. He comes from the Corman School of Filmmaking from back in the day. Jack did a bunch of he was the man. Did a bunch of really cheesy stuff, and then I think Chinatown maybe was one of his first big things, or maybe 5 Easy Pieces. But anyways, he did a bunch of Corman stuff, and starting in the 50s. This guy's been around forever.
He's not a young man.
No, he's not a young man. He's not as young as he used to be, Matt.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely true. Nobody is. There you go. I was going to say something else about deleted scenes, but if I forgot it, I suppose it's not important. What I'm saying is, I used to take it personally, and now I'm like, no, it's nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with just making the thing.
Yeah, I mean, if people really didn't want you there, they wouldn't
hire me.
They wouldn't hire you. Yeah, exactly. They have all this time in the world to do it.
It's just actors
deleted scenes are always interesting because it's there are so many times, so many opportunities for people to go over the script and to kind of refine it more and more and more, and then even things you shoot, there's still time to refine it. Still time to do more and more.
Yes,
it's surprising,
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Some television news. I mentioned I watched the Blind Spot pilot and the Minority Report pilot weeks and weeks ago. Blind Spot got renewed or got picked up for a full season order at NBC, so they're going to do 22 episodes. So congratulations to my buddy Brendan Gall, one of the writers on that show. Very nice to hear, name dropping. And also, unfortunately for our city, Minority Report, say it again, Minority Report, good job, Will, had its order scaled back. So it got scaled back from 13 episodes to 10.
10. Yeah, that's not a good sign.
It's a terrible sign.
Has that ever resulted in, you know what? You got us. Let's do it. Let's do another season.
Let's do another season. You were good. We were wrong, but you were good. I really have no idea. I can't imagine any show that's been less. No, we'll have more. I like the AV Club's headline for it was pretty catty. But I got it after. It said Fox has stopped 3 episodes of Minority Report before they can even be filmed. So think about it for a second, right? Because they're preventing murders before they're happening. They're preventing a show.
Very good.
There you go. Right.
Well done, sir.
Well done. Well, it's me. Well done, AV Report.
Yes, AV Club.
AV Club, which is also Alex. I heard was going to sue them because that's the name of Alex's fan club, right?
Yeah, the AV Club.
The
It
AV
has to be the AJV Club. Which is just, I mean, you can when you hear it, you're like, well, that's not good enough, right?
Yes, that's like the apple juice Velociraptors. No, not even close.
Yeah, Apple Juice Velociraptors. That's my band, though.
Oh, also congratulations to the winner of the Top Audience Award at Vancouver Film Festival, the film Brooklyn, starring, you're going to correct me on this, Saoirse Ronan. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, you mean Saoirse Ronan?
That's the one.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, Saoirse Ronan. Congratulations to those guys. That's another award we tried to win, but congratulations to those guys. I'm not gonna
good for them. I can be your Saoirse Ronan.
Oh, what's this thing about?
Yes.
Who's Siri following now? By the way, is she following us?
So Siri, the typical Siri voice, the voice that you and I hear. Every
is there an atypical Siri voice?
Well, you can choose different ones. Like
really?
Have I not? Okay, hold on.
Can I choose Danny Trejo?
That would be so good. Oh, I'm Siri, your person. I can't even do a good Trejo. So let me pull up my right here. So you can choose different voices. So you can pick different genders. Obviously, there's just two because they haven't gotten there yet. I don't really know where there is, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay. Language, English, Canada. So, Siri voice. Okay, we're going to go through a couple here.
Okay, here we go. So this podcast now has a fourth member, or fifth member, kind of.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, no, she's been on the show before. Welcome back, everybody. Siri.
This is your typical one.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
You heard that?
Yes, I did hear she's Siri, my virtual assistant. Thank you.
It's true. Yes. Let me see if I can jack up the volume here a little bit too. Actually. Boom. Okay, so we'll make her an American male.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
By the way, American Males was a great tag team in WCW back in the day.
Very good. Okay, but say you don't want American. What about British?
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
So that was the man. Kind of sounds like Q.
It kind of sounds like what's his name? Ben Mendelsohn. No, Ben something. Oh gosh,
like the guy who plays Q
in the new ones.
That's what I meant.
In the new James Bonds. Yeah, not Desmond Llewellyn. Although that would be excellent.
No,
be careful with you.
Listen carefully.
Devin. Yeah.
Okay, so here's British female.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
By the way, it's Ben.
She really hits that T at the end pretty well.
Ben Whishaw. Oh, the British love the aspirated T. That's where the Canadians get it from too. We aspirate our T's all the time. It's in America. We get like a T sounds like a D sound.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the last one. This is the best, I think. It's also Australian, right? So here's an Australian male.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
Assistant.
Like, assistant. And here, this is my personal favorite, but I wouldn't get anything done if I had this one.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
You wouldn't get anything done. You'd just be laughing at.
No, I would just be listening, just loving listening to that Australian accent. So anyway, so this voice.
There's no South African.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
there's not any South African, sadly.
Sorry.
So the person who has that voice has Twitter. It's like at seriously something or something like that. And so that person now follows Alex Vaughn on Twitter.
Yes, but does she? How many does she like follow? Like 5 or 6 people? How many people does she follow?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. Let me take a quick look here. I know where you're going. I mean, like the New York Post follows me, but I think they also follow straight up like 4 million people. Followers.
Isn't it like something Bennett or something like that?
Probably. I could see. I'm trying to see the picture here. Man, Twitter. I thought you'd have us in like order of when people did stuff.
Come on, Twitter.
Put it together, Twitter. Okay, here we go. Susan Bennett. At Seriously Susan. So she's verified, which is kind of cool.
Well, she ought to be.
And she follows 510,000 people.
I thought you were going to stop at 510. And I'd be like, hey, 1,000.
Hey, that'd be cool. That'd be all right.
So, like, she's got to have a dummy account to use Twitter, right? There's no way you can follow that many people on Twitter.
And actually use it.
And enjoy yourself. Be like, oh, yes, let's see what... Let's see what Steve Martin's saying today. You know what I mean?
Steve Martin.
See what
Yeah,
Steve Martin's
exactly.
saying today. Okay. Well, cool. Well, she follows Alex. I guess.
Yeah. No, the Alex is on Twitter at Evonix.
Yes, and that's spelled
EVAUGHANICS.
That's a very Siri way of saying it. By the way, there's no South African Siri, which I'll call them
Get
out
on it.
at some
Jump
point.
on it. Jump on it.
I am on Twitter at William C. Vaughn. You can check me out. And Matt, you're on Twitter at
MPVAUGHAN.
AN. So
Yeah.
on Monday, I'm going to be, which is today, obviously, and we're doing this live. I don't know why I mentioned that.
Of course. Always live.
I'm going to be Instagramming and tweeting and Facebooking about this. I read a list recently of the top 10 things not to do on social media. And I was
very
like,
good.
Oh, I do all that stuff.
What was one of them? Can you share? Just so that
One of them
followers
is
can also-
don't just plug things all the time. Nobody likes to be having a conversation with a door-to-door salesman. And I've been like, oh, wow, that's all I've been doing is plugging stuff recently.
Well, I mean, that's okay as much. I mean, because I think it's okay for you because otherwise we'll... have you seen what else you tweet?
Yes, and it's all gold, okay? So shut up.
Folks, don't let this podcast be a deleted scene in your life. Listen to it weekly. And live your life. Hey.
Live your life. Thanks from Rihanna. We appreciate that. So next week, if you're too scared, don't listen because we're going to be talking about horror movies with our good friend of the show. Gosh, I hope he is actually here.
Will, can you do a good one of those ghost things? Like, ooh, do you remember those?
Yeah.
Those plug-in ghost things? I've always tried to look online to see if I can find something like that. Maybe I'll bring it up with Ian. Maybe he has a link to that.
We went to the Spirit Halloween store that pops up here every year.
Yes.
One of the many that does. And they had, by the front door, they hid this trigger under a mat. It was a giant spider that lunges at you.
Oh, great.
Legitimately scared us when we were coming through. But some of the Halloween decorations are outrageous. They're like $100 for like a hanging skeleton or something.
Oh, gosh.
That'll like dance the little sachet around your lawn.
Come with the Macarena.
Yes, the seminal dance of our time. Everybody, thanks for listening up. Follow us on all this stuff, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Heck, Matt, what are you thankful for right now?
I'm thankful for this podcast and for you.
Oh, that's really nice. I was going to say I'm not. What I was going to say was family and health. That's about it.
All right.
It's a good amount of stuff. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll take care. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye.
Peace out. Bye.